The 7th of June, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi, Shelach. Can you hear me, Meir?
I can hear you.
Okay, something's wrong with the rabbi's
Okay.
speaker.
Very good. Let's go.
Okay, so let's see.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Rabbi?
Excellent. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good, great.
Okay. Okay, we're up to a very interesting Rashi, and I would like, I think, to do this Rashi proper justice, we'll have to see a similar Rashi in Parshas Eikev. Yeah.
What's the verse in chapter?
I don't know. We'll have to wait for the rabbi to come back, Yehiel. I'm not sure where we are.
Okay. Whoops. No, that on.
Yeah. If you have, either if anybody has a Chumash Dvorim handy, you'll see that Rashi in Dvorim, I'll explain to you what the connection is over here. In Dvorim, chapter 11, Pasuk 10. Parshas Eikev, towards the end of Parshas Eikev. Shishi. I'll read out the Pasuk. Are you with me? And you have a, Lou, you have a text there?
I have it. You want me to read?
It's in Parshas Eikev, chapter 11, Pasuk 10. Okay. Now, so the Pasuk says over there, Ki ha'aretz asher tavo shoma l'rishta. For the land to where you are coming to take a possession of it, lo yicha eretz Mitzrayim. It's not like the land of Egypt, asher yotzase misham, from where you left, asher tizra zaracho v'ishkisa barak lecho kegan hayorah. That you plant your seed, and then you irrigate it with your feet. See what that means, whatever. The two explanations of what it means with your feet. Either you had to carry water to actually irrigate it manually, or to make, Barak means to make man-made channels from the Nile in order to irrigate the fields. Okay? But the land where you are coming to take possession of it, Eretz Harim of because it's a land of hill, mountains and valleys. Limta shomayim tishtemoim. It literally drinks water from the rains of the heaven. And there's also the third part, is the most important. Eretz Asher Hashem Elokecha Dorish Esa. It is a land which Hashem seeks. Tomid Eine Hashem Elokecha Bo Meireshis Ad Shon V'Achris Shon. The Kodesh Baruch Hu's eyes are upon Hashem. The eyes of Hashem your God are upon it from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. Which means our Kodesh Baruch has a special supervision over the land of Israel. Okay, very appropriate to our times where we desperately need that. Because
Is that true in our times?
it certainly is. Maybe not to the same extent as it was when there was a Beis Hamikdash and the entire Jewish people were living as properly in the land of Israel. But unlike today, where still the majority of the Jewish population of the world is still not living in Eretz Yisrael yet. Upon him, that's for sure that Eretz Yisrael, once the Jewish people took over the land, it became Eretz Yisrael, the land of the people of Israel. Then Kodesh Baruch Hu has a special supervision over the land.
Even though the government is not religious?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, even though the government is not religious?
Yes, because there are plenty of religious Jews living here, and albeit it would be a much better situation that there would be a religious government and the state would be run on religious lines. But anyway, there are a tremendous amount of, it's undoubtedly, certainly today, the greatest place of learning Torah in the entire world is definitely here in Eretz Yisrael, both in numbers and most probably in quality as well.
And is that a criteria?
Sure, because Torah provides us with protection. This is that is most probably the greatest form of fulfillment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will. And to the greater degree we keep HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will, the greater HaKadosh Baruch Hu's protection is upon us. Okay, but the point is, the Rashi says over here. Now, what does it mean? The pasuk over there, and this is what Rashi dwells on over there in Parshas Eikev, that Eretz Yisrael is not like the land of Egypt. So Rashi presents an interesting question. Well, is it for the good or for the bad?
Oh.
Okay, so Rashi says, Elo tova hemena. It's not like the land of Egypt, but it's better than the land of Egypt. That's in case we would think otherwise. You could think it's some different. It's a different form of agriculture, different setup, but Rashi is saying it's better. Okay? Now, Rashi says, this promise was said to the Jewish people, to Israel, when they left Egypt. And they were saying, maybe we won't go to a good and pleasant land like this one, i.e. like Egypt. Okay? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them, no, it's not like the land of Egypt, it's better. Rashi, maybe no. Rather, it's a worse land. Maybe it's not like the land of Egypt, but it's worse. So Rashi says, no, that can't be, because Talmud Loima, our pasuk over here, V'chevroim sheva shonim nivnesa lifnei tzad Mitzrayim. Okay, that Hebron was built 7 years before Tzoyan of Egypt. Now Rashi adds in something which Rashi by us in Shelach does not mention it, but Rashi says as follows: Adam echad beno, one person built it. Now this is an assumption which I don't know where Rashi got it from, but Rashi goes on to explain. Chom bono Tzoyan leMitzrayim. Chom, who was one of Noach's 3 sons, Chom was actually the oldest. Okay, and he was degraded because he sinned in a very serious way against his father. But upon him, it says, Chom bona Tzoyan leMitzrayim. Chom built 2 cities. He built the city of Tzoyan for his son, leMitzrayim b'nai, for his son Mitzrayim. The Hebron, and he built Hebron leKnan b'nai, to his son Canaan. And it says, that Chom had 4 sons: Mitzrayim, Cush, Phut, Uknoah. Okay, so Mitzrayim was the oldest son, and Canaan was the youngest. Derech Eretz Adam boine es hanoah tchila, v'achar kach boine es hakol. Meaning, the Derech Eretz is that the father builds the nicer city, and with what's left over, whatever's left over from the building materials of the first one, he uses to build the second city. Over Kol Mokum, and everywhere you also find that always the first one, Hachovim Koidem. Okay? Holomadata. So now, according to Rashi's pshat over here in Akev, you take the pasuk literally. That's this pasuk means when the pasuk says here, Hebron was built 7 years before Tzoyan Mitzrayim, it was indeed built first. And Rashi says, therefore, if Hebron was built first, it must be that Hebron was a better quality, nicer city than Tzoyan. Mitzrayim. Now, then Rashi goes on to say, which Rashi also says here, Mitzrayim mishubachas mikol ha'arotzos, that of all the lands of the world, the nicest, most fertile, beautiful land was Mitzrayim. Shnema kegan Hashem ke'eretz Mitzrayim, like the garden of Hashem, like the land of Mitzrayim. Now, obviously, the garden of Hashem is referring to the Garden of Eden. So next best, whatever, we want to make a comparison that we say that the plain of Sodom, before HaKadosh Baruch Hu destroyed it, was so fertile, it was like the garden of Hashem, like the land of Mitzrayim. So obviously we're making a comparison to say it was super top quality. Okay? V'tzoyan shevach shel Eretz Mitzrayim. Tzoyan was the best part of Eretz Mitzrayim. Shahoisem Mokem Malchus. It was a place where the kings, that was the royal city. And Rashi brings a proof to that. Okay? Then the Hebron Pisolasa Shel Eretz Yisrael. And Hebron was the most inferior part of Eretz Yisrael, agriculturally. Therefore it wasn't used for agriculture, it was used for as a burial ground. And nevertheless, it was nicer than Tzoyan. So Rashi here in Parshas Eikev learns Kipshutai that Hebron was built earlier than Tzoyan, and Tzoyan was a very good quality land. And Hebron was a very good quality land. Mitzrayim was a good quality land, and nevertheless, Hebron, which is the most inferior part of the land of Canaan, was of better quality than the best part of Eretz Mitzrayim. Okay? That's what basically Rashi says in Ekev. Now let's see the Rashi over here in Parsha Shelach, which Rashi actually mentions at the end in Parsha Ekev as well. Rashi here learns a different shot. Okay, let's see now, Lou. Pasuk Sheva Shonim Nifnesa.
We're back in Shelach.
Pasuk, we are Pasuk Chav Beis.
Tough base in Bamidbar.
Bamidbar, back to Bamidbar, chapter 13, Pasuk 22.
Oh, the 1322.
Vaya'alu Banegev, Vayavo ad Hebron, Visham Achi Man, Sheshai, Visalmai, Velide Ha'anak, Vehevron Sheva Shanim Niv Nisa Livnei Tzoan Mi Mitzrayim. So they ascended in the south, and they arrived at Achinam. I'm sorry, at Hebron, where there were Achiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the offspring of the giant. Hebron had been built 7 years before Zoan of Egypt. So Rashi says, Vayavo ad Hebron. He arrived at Hebron. Caleb Levado halach sham. Caleb alone went there.
Kalev. Okay.
Kalev alone went there. Venish tach, and he prostrated himself in prayer. Al kivrei avos, on the graves of the patriarchs. Shelo yehe nisas lachaverav, that he should not be enticed by his friends. Lios ba'atasam, to be part of their plan. V'chein hu omer, and so it says, V'lo etain es haaretz asher darach ba. And to him I shall give the land that he walked upon it. Uchasiv, and it is written, Vayitenu lechalev es Chevron, and they gave Chevron to Chalev. Sheva shanim niv nisa. 7 years it was built. It had been built.
Right. Hebron had been built 7 years before Tzon of Egypt.
Efshar shebana cham es Hebron. Is it possible that Ham would have built Hebron? Lichnan beno hakatan, for Canaan, who was his younger son. Kodem sheyivneh es so on. Before that he built so on. The Mitzrayim beno hagadol.
Right.
Mitzrayim.
Is it possible that Ham, and I don't know where the assumption is, but that is the assumption over here, that we're talking about Ham built both cities, both the city of Hebron and the city of Tzoran. And is it possible that Ham would have built Hebron for his youngest son, who was Canaan, before he built Tzoran for Mitzrayim, his oldest son? Okay?
Yeah. So Mitzrayim was older. Ella, rather, shehaisa mivuna b'chol tov. Hebron was fertile,
Developed, cultivated.
With all that was good. Al echad mi shiv'ah bitzoar. In comparison to 7
Means it was seven times better cultivated than Tzoran of Egypt.
So on. Uva lehodiacha, and it comes to inform you, shebecha shel Eretz Yisrael, of the excellence of the land of Israel.
Right.
She'ein lecha tirashim be'eretz Yisrael yoser me Hebron. But there's no more rocky terrain in the land of Israel than in Hebron.
Right.
Lefichach, therefore, hiktsoah, they set it aside. The kivros mesim, for burial places for dead people,
Right.
for corpses.
Yeah, it was used for burial.
Ve'ein lecha me'ula b'chol ha'aratzos ke'mitzrayim. And there is not for you superior in all of the land of Egypt. Shne'emar, as it says, Kizan Hashem ke Eretz Mitzrayim. I'm sorry, Kigan Hashem me Eretz Mitzrayim. Like the garden of Hashem, like the land of Egypt. But so on, he Hamaulah Shebe Eretz Mitzrayim. V'tzon he hame'ula shebe'eretz Mitzrayim. And Zoan is the best of the land of Egypt. Sheshes moshav hamelachim. For the residence of the kings is there. Shne'emar, as it says, Ki hayu b'tzoan sarav. For his ministers were in Tzoan. V'haisa Chevron tova mimena. And Chevron was better than it. Shiv'a chalakim, 7 parts.
Means 7 times. Okay? Chevron was 7 times better than Tzoya. Okay? So here Rashi is explaining that we should not understand that literally Chevron was built 7 years before Tzoyan of Egypt. Means it was 7 times better. Why the Torah expresses it in such a way, I do not know. According to this explanation, that seems very strange. Like it seems like a very, I call it esoteric explanation. But here, this is what Rashi takes on to be the meaning. With either way, even according to Rashi's explanation in Parshas Eikev, which is different from Rashi's explanation here, nevertheless, shall we say the kavana, meaning the idea of what the pasuk is trying to convey, is the same. That Hebron was far superior. Hebron, which is like the poorest part of Eretz Yisrael, agriculturally, it was far superior to Tzoyan, which was the best part of the land of Egypt. And the land of Egypt was the best part of all the lands of the world, was the best country, most fertile country of all the lands of the world. So because of that, the idea, the portent is the same. Okay? Let's see weiter. Pasuk Chav Gimel. Mehr?
Chav Gimel. Vayavou ad Nachal Eshkol vayikretu misham zmora ve'eshkol anavim echad vayisauhu vamot vishnayim umin harimonim umin hate'enim. Okay, so they came to the valley of Eshkol. Let's see, Vayikra 2, they cut from there a vine with a cluster of grapes. Okay. Vayasuhu, and they carried it. Bamot.
Bamoit, with a pole.
Oh, with a pole. Okay. Bishnayim, by 2, I guess. And of Rimonim, pomegranates, and from the figs. Okay, so they had 3 types of fruits from the land. Okay, Rashi.
Yes, 3 fruit, right. Mino Rimonim or Minatein, from the pomegranates and from the figs.
Okay, so Zemora, a vine. Sochat Geffen. It's a part of a grapevine, I guess.
Sorry?
Part of a grapevine?
Yeah, yes, this is the
Okay.
actual branch.
Oh, the branch. Okay, the branch of a
Shemira is a
grapevine.
branch. The
Okay.
Eshkol Anovim Echad, with, in this
A
sense,
cluster.
with a cluster, one cluster of grapes.
Okay, taloi that hung up from it. Okay. Vayisauhu bamot b'shnayim, and they carried it on a pole by two. I mean, mishmash and emar, that is to say, vayasuhu bamot, they carried it on a pole. Eno yodea, and I don't know, shehu b'shnayim, that it was carried by
Right.
two people. Oh.
Means if it tells you they carried it with a pole, I mean, Pashas, you're not, if it was just one individual who's carrying it, then there's no point in him having a pole.
Right.
Okay? So you could just carry the cluster of grapes as is.
Mhm.
So obviously when it says they carried it with a pole, it means there were two people carrying. So why does it have to say Bishnayim?
Oh, okay. That's the next question. Matamu lomor. Why does it say by two? Vishnei motot. By two, with two poles, it looks like. Okay. Haketzad, how is this done? Shmoneh, not lu eshkol. 8 people took the cluster. Wow.
Means there were 8
How
people. Now this is
how
an
could that
interesting
be? If
point
8,
over here. How
I
we
thought
jump from 4 to 8. The chayra, if it's 2 poles, that should suggest, right,
Mhm.
that you 4 people. And yet Rashi jumps to 8.
Yeah, and what does that leave over? There were only what, 12
So that means,
spies?
and then it says echad not altei. Now one was left over with one took a fig, and another one took a pomegranate.
Oh, so
And
that's
then he
10.
says Yeshua v'kolev lo not klum.
They didn't take
Yeshua
any.
and Kolev didn't take anything.
Fisha Kolatzman, for the spy, let's see, for all of themselves, okay. Lahotzi diba nit kavnu. Oh, they intended
Meaning
to.
the whole purpose, the whole purpose in bringing the fruit was not with good intentions. It was with bad intentions.
Bad intentions. Shame Shapir Yah Mishuneh. Because the fruit was unusual. Kachama Mishuneh. And so the people were unusual. V'im chafetz atay leda, and if you want to know, kama masaoi echad mehem, how much, let's see, masaoi they carried?
Yeah. What was the weight?
The weight of one of them. Say ulamad, go and learn. Ma'avanim shehakimu b'Gilgal.
The Gilgal.
So from stones which they set up in Gilgal.